we're going to talk a little bit about in which we're working, because one of the things that I want to overcome and we're working towards since I was elected in 2020 is my motivation for running for office. This was not part of my plan. I was a school board member and was very happy in that capacity in my city, and that came about because I had volunteered in different capacities throughout the school with my kids that were going through the school district. And then an opening came on the school board, and I was approached by the superintendent and one of the school board members who asked, you know, we have an opening on the board. Have you considered applying to be a board member? And at the time I thought, well, this would be such a natural, organic transition into the next step of volunteering in our school district. In education, as a former teacher, I'm passionate about education. You get the power of transformation through education. Passionate about that. And so I didn't want to leave. I actually was very disappointed in the toxicity that we saw in government and politics. I don't care for toxicity. I'm not a contentious person. And I was afraid. I did not take on. So school board was very nice. I loved it. I was in heaven there. So when the opportunity came to run for the Senate district, I was approached again, and they had asked me if I had considered running for Senate, and I chuckled. I said, no, I'm not qualified to get that job. And the response, because it was a woman who reached out, it's just typical of a woman. Had it been a man, they would have said, yes, absolutely, I will do it, no questions. But as women, we have a tendency to think, usually most of the time is that we're not qualified. We don't have the skills or the talent. We don't have the capacity to do many things, and we are a little bit intimidated. And then the lady went on to, she went on to explain, well, no, you've done it. And she started naming all the things that she knew that I had done. And she goes, you're very well qualified to do the job. Did you do it? And I thought it was a joke. The following day, I got a call from the former senator, and he also asked, have you considered running for Senate? And I chuckled again. I said, no, I don't have the experience. No. And he went on to say, because he knew I was a mom, he says, parents can do this, moms can do this. You should meet with so-and-so and so-and-so that have been doing this, they have kids, you can do this. So it took me about a month of literally really having discussions with my family, praying a woman of faith on whether or not I should do this or not. And one of the things that I was really afraid. I'm not gonna lie, I was afraid to do this because I know and had seen in government how contentious and just vile it can get.